TV, we're live from Kampala's Rana Conference Center. It's very gratifying to have you this morning. Now, Makerere University will tomorrow host the National Humanities Conference. It comes at a time when the area of humanities is under attack from the government over its relevance. Now, to speak to us about this and more, we have Professor Josephine Ahikire, the principal, Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences. We have Dr. Levi Samugumia, the convener of the conference. And on Zoom later, we'll be joined by Professor Julius Chikoma, the Deputy Principal, Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, it's an honor to have, big brains, for lack of a better word, discussing humanities where we are today. As the convener, Levis, let me start with you there. This is the second conference since 2018, if I'm right. And why is it still necessary to have another conference? And why should the current and the future students of humanities regard this conference relevant in form of learning?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew Chamagelo, for hosting us, and good morning, NTV viewers. And thank you for hosting us this morning. It's actually not, the second time we are having a national conference. We have been having a symposia since 2018. And this symposia, started as just gatherings for graduate students at Makerere University. But later on, they attracted people, they attracted, staff, but also, people from outside Makerere University. And this year, we have got a project from which this conference is being derived. And that is, historicizing the humanities at Makerere University since 1922. So from this project, we are deriving this humanities conference, which will be starting tomorrow in the afternoon.
Now, with the president making the concern and emphasizing the issue that students should focus more on sciences, as they are more important than the arts in the job market, the way he sees it, why do you think humanities are still relevant?
Yeah, I think humanities is an important, aspect in human life. In fact, we call us, humanistic, sciences. Look, Andrew, you are here, and I don't think, you did sciences. Did you?
I did chemistry, and I remember I was actually bashed out of the chemistry class. But I opted for the arts because I thrive on people. And I believe it's more better if I connect more with people. I understand them, I tap into the dynamics that I can become a better person.
Exactly, and that's what we are trying to do. So people think the sciences are very important, but I think as humanities disciplines, we have been contributing in one way or another to the development of human beings, but also to understand how human beings exist. We also, for example, I can give an example of the recent pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. Scientists cannot say we can discover vaccines, but we also need experts in communication and language to communicate how to prevent this disease and how people can get along with the disease.
I agree. Coming here to Professor Josephine, kindly help me understand the president's worries about the unemployment question about the graduates who come from the humanities. He keeps saying many of them graduate, but they can't find jobs. How do you address that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. What we can say, greetings from Makerere University, first of all.
Great.
Yes, and greetings from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. You know that a head of government or head of state, for that matter, can make pronouncements. But ultimately, it is the role of those on the ground, of the executive arm of the universities as academies to actually understand what is it that is at the center of development and what is it that is at the center of humanity or human existence. So what we can say is that there isn't actually that need of putting sciences one side and humanities another side. That actually human existence is one big holistic kind of existence, and you actually need both of those. And sometimes the crisis of humanity comes from the lack of the strength of humanities, because the strength of humanities brings that soul, brings the understanding around culture, brings, for example, for us as Africans, it brings that sense of identity and the need to actually develop, for example, develop the African perspective of things. That is not going to come from natural science. It is going to come from humanistic scholarship.
Oh, that is true.
Yes.
When you look at that, then let's talk about, is it possible to have the teaching of humanities to be made relevant in the current need of the job market? Because the worry here is we have very many people who have studied humanities and they're not driven to set up their own businesses. And the current conversations around the globe, it's about innovation, sciences and all that. For some reason, one or two, you find that the ones who are doing humanities, they feel they're less important or they're not enough. So how do we bridge that gap?
Thank you very much. I think that's a good concern. It's a significant concern for society. First of all, we are actually, as a College of Humanities and Social Sciences, we are doing a tracer study as part of the celebrations. You know, Makerere is going to celebrate 100 years of existence.
Yep.
Next year.
My father is very excited. He just
2022. You should be excited also.
Yes.
We are actually kickstarting the celebration.
The conversation is started.
We are here now.
Okay.
And what we find is that people get the skills, critical thinking, critical writing, critical kind of perspective on society. Social change and so on, but they don't actually name those skills as humanities.
Affirmative.
So we interviewed journalists and they said, you know, with the humanities courses are theoretical, we don't get the skills. And then we ask, you are actually using these skills right here.
You're using them.
Here, right here, you're using them. So that means that we just need to do more in terms of naming the skills, arming graduates to be agents of change. Wow. Not just subjects who are looking for jobs, but agents of change in whatever space they are operating in. And humanities gives you that broad range of action.
At all levels.
At all levels, at community level, at state level, in organizations, you will find all graduates of humanities.
Wow.
And I think, you know, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
It's not about, I think it's the way, you know, how people, you know, are brought up.
Yeah.
Look, for example, you know, at the music industry. Look, you know, at drama. Look, you know, at these stand-up comedies.
Yeah.
At these, you know, sciences. And these people, you know, have done, you know,
those are humanities. Yes.
They have, you know, done drama. They have done, you know, film. They have, look, you know, these people who write in newspapers.
Oh, yeah.
All these, you know, have done humanities. And these are important, you know, aspects in our society. And they are contributing much in our society. So, saying that, you know, people cannot get a job, I think that's not right. It's, you know, how, you know, you are brought up. And eventually, you know, you can just create your own job and be relevant to society.
Wow. Very great perspective there. You can join this conversation with the hashtag MongaDNTV. Joining us on Zoom is Professor Julius Chikoma, the Deputy Principal, Makerere University College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, good morning, Andrew. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Well, it's very exciting. I'm honored to have a doctor on Zoom because now that's the new normal and how we're going to go all around. Now, Doctor, talk to us about the teaching side. How can lecturers from where we are today, the dynamics, how can lecturers be made to appreciate the change of moving from relaying on age-old notes instead of training learners to think of their new age?
Well, thank you very much. And that question cannot have come at a better time. We are in a time when there is the pandemic.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we have realized that the old times thinking cannot help us. And today, at Makerere, we have a concept we call onlineization. And we have been, garnering, all the lecturers to realize that it is time to embrace technology and apply it in the humanities. After all, we know that actually the humanities are the source of critical thinking. When you are in a problem, you turn to your critical skills of thinking outside the box. And it is very interesting that currently a number of lecturers have actually embraced the move towards onlineization, using a range of skills and a range of tactics to engage students when they are not in person attending classes. And like my colleagues have alluded to, the tracer study we have conducted has actually showed that a lot of lecturers have been able to embrace the change, even though it came when they are not prepared, but they are actually embracing it very well. And the students are indicating that they are happy with the way the lecturers have caught on this new move to onlineization. But of course, it is early days in terms of how has that impacted on the effectiveness of the team.
Well, Doctor, that is something very exciting. But now we come in a pandemic where students are, they're not tech savvy in a way, but some lecturers are a little bit dragging their feet. How are we pulling them faster that they can, tap into the pace of the new global dynamics, and we still have the same value we could have gotten when we were in class?
You are right. Not everyone has embraced this quickly.
True.
In terms of the speed at which we would like as administration and as society. But I can tell you that what is foundation and fundamental in a situation like that is really working on change in mindset, to get people to realize that, times have changed, and we will not go back to the times we are used to, which we call normal times. So it's partly it is mindset change, and partly is to help them realize that, like we have been able to navigate other challenges in the past. Even this one, we have to navigate it. So it's working on their mindset and helping them to see the big picture in terms of, in fact, the positives that come with the change. In fact, one of the things people have realized is that when we embrace technology to do so much of what we've been doing differently, we are saving on time. It is much.
I think Doctor is frozen there, but Doctor, can you still hear me? Okay, I will get back to Dr. a little later. Now,
maybe Andrew,
he makes
to add on what Dr. Chikoma has been saying.
Yes.
I think the online events are very important now.
True.
Coming to our conference, when we started this conference, late last year, we thought we could have a physical conference.
Physical one, yes.
But of course, with the lockdown and the escalating of the cases in Uganda, we had to go online. And if you go around universities, these days, the online events are the thing.
True. Webinars.
Yeah. So people, can drag their feet, but
Yeah.
eventually, they will have to cope, with this kind of new invasion.
Oh, yes.
Now, we have, we thought, we could have that blended event, but we have had, to make sure, all our conference activities are going to be online. And the people are going, presenting online. Of course, we have got, some of the problems regarding the internet infrastructure.
Yeah.
But we can even, ask people, to send in recorded presentations.
Yeah.
And at the particular moment, of their presentation, these can be played back, and people can enjoy the conference as if, they were there physically.
That makes a lot of sense. Then, Doctor, this brings me to another question. In this year's conference, what should we expect, we as people who are going to attend? And in that regard, is everyone allowed to attend? If so, if I'm going to attend, what are the prerequisites for me to attend such a conference?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Everyone is allowed to attend. The registration is now open. There are no registration fees, and it's now out in the media. You can register and attend this conference. And there are a number of topics and sessions that are going to discuss various things during this conference. We have got, for example, the humanities and the digital era. One of the presenters is going to talk about how can he use, digital means to preserve, for example, language. We have got, people who are talking about, identity. We have people, who are going to be talking about, humanities and governance. So there is a wide range, of topics that can interest people. We now have, our program on our website, so people can go there and download the program, and then they can choose, whichever session they think, they can attend.
Okay. That is very exciting. Someone here on Twitter, by the way, if you're on Twitter, the hashtag is morning@ntv. I'll tap into your feedback and I'll read it as long as it's on the topic. I won't read anything that is off the grid. Now, someone here says that I'm very excited to be following this conversation. I am called Dixon. I love my culture, and I invented an app that can keep the African riddles and proverbs from the different walks of life in Uganda. So for him, he believes in technology, but preserving the riddles we have as Ugandans from the different walks of life.
Very
good. Dixon, you can join this conference. I think it would give you a much more clarity on how best you can, scale this up. Melissa here says, a very good morning. Thanks for this topic. When people say that scientists is the only way to go, just so you know, people like you, Chamagero, you're on air because of humanities. So you know what it is. Let's not... I understand that and I celebrate it. No offense, though. Let's keep going that way. Now, Prof here, let's look at the current situation where we're in COVID-19, the transition to the online teaching and all that. How do we make sure that the teachings that are online are responsive to the current need of the population where we are, especially in humanities?
Thank you. Maybe briefly first about the conference.
Our expectations.
Yes. What should we expect?
Nice.
We have over 160 paper presentations. We have 7 panelists, and these panels are coming from community actors and government actors. We are going to unveil our twin publication, Mawazo Journal, which has several publications by graduate students.
Okay.
And we'll have exciting conversations about humanities and the future. Why do we have such conferences? Why do we have such spaces? Such a space does about 3 things. This space of a conference enables people to display the research that they've been doing. Instead of writing and putting it under your locker, this is now going to be a public knowledge space.
Nice.
Where you share and you actually get feedback. You also get peer learning from this. Also, conferences offer our graduate students the opportunity to be able to present their ongoing work, to be able to learn from their seniors, because from lectures, that's one form of learning.
Yeah.
Conferences is another form of learning, because then that one is more or less sort of a free space. So it is upon you to learn what, and that's important, more than a lecture which is directed learning. Thirdly, as a university, our strategic direction as of now is to be a research-led university.
Nice.
So we are facing the next 100 years as a research-led university, as Makerere University. And for us as a college, as CHUS, if you're going to be research-led, there has to be a space to be able to process the research, to be able to show the public. This is the research that is coming out of Makerere University. And it also gives direction to society to say, these are critical issues, how do we take them forward? For instance, how do we deal with pandemics? Beyond just the public health approach of do this, don't do this. How do we holistically deal with pandemics? now and in the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that idea of bringing, the ivory tower to the community is very important.
That's what I love, because now I can be a part of it from my conference.
And of course, this Zoom aspect, brings all the people, here in the university. Usually, we have been in our ivory tower, couched in our theoretical and methodological, approaches. But now, in fact, we have got one panel that is bringing, the practitioners in the field there.
To share.
We teach drama, we teach, writing. But there are people in the field, who have been practicing this.
Oh, yeah.
So how do they do it? So how can we, interact with the community and bring about, meaningful aspects in this conference?
It's a conversation. Doctor, if I may get back to you, Dr. Chikoma, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, Doctor, how do you then expect, rather anticipate this conference to inform the future learning of humanities?
I'm actually excited that we are having it at around a time when, everyone is looking for new solutions, given what the pandemic has done for us. And one of the things I expected to come from this conference and its engagement with the wider public is people to expect to realize the role and the value of humanities. Because this is a public engagement, like my colleagues are mentioning. But more importantly, also, the kind of debates and the kind of new knowledge that will be shared should inspire people to take humanities very seriously. And three, when they take the humanities very seriously, we expect that the future students or the prospective students will see that actually humanities are very relevant. And actually, moreover, humanities come at a lesser cost. I mean, if we just made a cost-benefit analysis of what you put in training a humanities student and a science student, we get a high turnover of humanities training than science, and yet we put in not, the proportions are not the same. So we are training critical, human resource of this society to focus on critical social issues like, the pandemic, conflicts, and the research and the knowledge that comes from humanities is one of those that actually help us to imagine our national identity and what we take to the global forum. So a critical humanities is a very important catalyst for national identity and for feeling good about yourselves when people are talking about what you are as a society you are about, and how you are informing the rest of the other challenges that other people are going through.
Okay.
And Uganda has been known for those kind of things before. Makerere University taking the lead in coming up with very, very formidable social and humanities science.
Doctor, my other question to you before I actually wrap up this conversation, what's the theme of this year's conference? We need to acquaint ourselves with it so that it excites us. The way you're excited, I need to know the theme that it can keep me in check.
Well, Mr. Andrew, the theme
is that for me?
Yes, I directed it to you, but Doctor here wants to answer that. Yes, so Dr. Lewis?
The theme for this year's conference is humanities and humanistic social sciences for the new era.
For the new era?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, if you want to participate, Doctor, I want to know, I'm a Ugandan, I'm in Abim district, or I'm in Mitoma district, but now that you've brought the ivory tower within my space, how do I join in to be a part of this?
Okay, as I said, earlier on, Andrew, everything is on our website. We have got www.marc.sc.ug, and there, you can click on the College of Humanities website, and you will go to the link which takes you to the Humanities Conference 2021, and everything is there. How, for example, you can register for participation, and how we also have uploaded, links that can take you to the different sessions, and we also have uploaded, the book of abstracts, so you can read in advance and decide, which particular session that you would wish to attend.
Will we have Facebook Live? Because for us, as Bantuba, at times the website is too heavy. But on Facebook here, if we can be in position.
Not on Facebook, our presentations are going to be streaming live. So
On
look
YouTube
them
as well.
out, yeah, on our YouTube, and then
Nice.
also, on the Facebook of the university.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting conversation. Dr. Chikoma, before I let you go, what are your parting shots this morning?
My parting what?
Your parting shots as we're finalizing the conversation?
Well, I will just say it in we're in the era of taglines, and I will just say that humanity matters. It matters even much more after the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, as we're finalizing this. What are your biggest expectations of this conference? You as an individual.
As an individual,
Yes.
I am an African scholar.
So you're Pan-African, just like me.
That makes the two of us.
Carry on.
Normally we used to wait for a ticket,
No.
an invitation to the US, to Germany, to South Africa, and so on. We are here.
Nice.
We are here organizing our own space
Oh, yes.
as Makerere University. It's a national conference.
Oh, yes.
It's involving even our sister universities, Gulu, Mbarara, Chambogo, UCU, Busitema, and so on. For me, my expectation is to learn and to share.
Nice.
So I'm going to present, but I'm also going to listen, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to share. And also in that role, I will offer academic leadership to our young scholars and graduate students.
There you have it from the professor herself, and we've had Dr. Lewis as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis. Thank you, Dr. Chikoma on the other side, Julius. But just so you know, if you want to be a part of this conversation, log on to www.mak.sc.ug, www.mak.sc.ug, and with that you can tap onto the humanities, and then you can go into the links, and then you can register. Then you can also choose www.chuss.mac.sc.ug. Be a part of this conversation. A couple of things are going to happen on the hashtag, and this conference is actually starting tomorrow. On Twitter, just go and follow Makerere Chas. That is Makerere with a CHUSS, and the same applies on Facebook, and be a part of this conversation. But don't only stop at you just attending. Tell your friends and relatives, those who are actually very interested with humanities, or to understand the different dynamics of humanities. Be a part of this conversation. Their hashtag will be HumanitiesCon 2021. That con starts for the conference. I'm Andrew Chamagero, and it's an honor to have this conversation. I'll be there. You ought to be there. The